United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll begin. I'm going to also add on that there was a beautiful turnout for a Parkwood resident that we all came to know and love named David Schulman. He was laid to rest today at sunset, and a great turnout. His family was very moved by the turnout of both Parkwood employees and our fire department, myself, Miss Cody, Andy Gibbs, and the rest. He was one that kind of stole our heart during the mayor's motorcade year after year. He was the one that loved the fire trucks when we pulled in. And he passed. He had a brief battle with cancer and succumbed to that, but he was 66, and we've lost a resident, both Parkwood and this town, for the last 40 years as well. So keep him in your prayers and his family in your prayers as well. Thank you. Richard, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This evening I will present the annual budget for 2024. Some of our highlights. Our budget includes a salary increase of 3% for career and part-time employees. This will be effective 1 July 2023. Also, our position chart has 673 positions. We've increased this number by 2 positions. We have a grants administrator and an accounts payable technician. The employee contributions for benefits, including the pension plan, it's held flat. This evening, the general fund budget being presented is balanced with no anticipated millage rate increase. However, the tax digest must meet projected growth estimates, and we won't have these estimates until mid-October. The general fund balance at fiscal year 24 is projected to increase to $16,382,206. However, putting this budget together, there are some budget challenges. Taking a look at the economic outlook, it remains uncertain. There's a lot of different things that goes into place and a tough part in putting this budget together. As we created this budget, the numbers that we utilize today may not be the same numbers as we bring those items back to you later on to council to get approved. Revenues are not keeping up with inflation. Price increases such as insurance, electricity, vehicles, fuel, equipment, material, all of these items is beyond the control of the city, as I stated. Getting these estimates, building the budget now, those prices may fluctuate as we move closer to receiving these items and getting them approved. As I stated earlier, the tax digest is unknown at this time. Yes, accounts payable technician. Yes, ma'am. Recruitment, retention, in the face of wages not keeping in pace with inflation. So our challenge is to recruit individuals and retain them based off of our inflation, based off our current wage structure. It is a challenge, but we put a lot of things in place to deal with this challenge. Also, the same with job longevity continues to decrease across all sectors of the country, posing future challenges. And once again, this is some of the things that we're looking at taking seriously. A lot of individuals, they don't stay in positions having that longevity as they normally do. Benefits, current benefit package is not as attractive to new employees and has been as they has been historically. A lot of individuals don't hang around for some of the pension plans. They jump to job to job, looking for that excitement. Or as they've said, individuals nowadays, they look for a place to live first than a job. And once again, all of these things that we've been addressed and gathering that data and those things that we will work on as we go through fiscal year 24. Infrastructure continues to age and projects must be prioritized. Not all of the projects that we have they're funded in fiscal year 24. So we put some of these items out into 25, 26, making sure that those higher priorities get taken care of in fiscal year 24. This next slide has a lot of information on it. As we go through this presentation, I'm going to cover each and every item in this presentation. I'm just not going to do it with starting out. The main focus, looking at this slide, is looking at the revenues and the expenditures. So our projected revenues for fiscal year 24, looking at taxes, locally generated non-tax revenues, revenues from other governments, capital contributed to fund, receipts from other funds of the city. Our total revenue for fiscal year 24, $1,496,323. Now, our projected use of these funds are operating expenditures, capital distribution, debt service, and disbursement of other funds of the city. The total uses of these funds, $133,130,313, leaving an excess of $8,366,010. Our estimated fund balance July 1st, 2023 is $223,920,029. Our estimated fund balance as of June 30, 2024, $232,286,039. And as I've stated, all of these items, all of these topics, I will cover throughout the presentation. The next slide outlines our budget summary, and it compares 24 to 23. Summarizing, the general fund for this year went up $2,198,198. Our special revenue is down $1,761,099. Our capital funds down $3,146,498. Our enterprise fund is down $24,411. Our internal service increased $528,641, and our permanent funds remain flat. Our next area of discussion is our capital requests. And I'm not going to go through every item line by line and give it a price. As I go through it, what I'll do is I'll give you the total for each area. Finance, the loan item they had is a copier. So total for finance is $10,000. And everything that's on this capital is single items, cost over $5K. Can be single items with the cost exceeding $5K and above. The next area is engineering. Engineering is looking at a striping machine with the striping the roadways, parking lots, a sign press machine where they build all the majority of the signs throughout the city, ADX Halon fire suppression system for the traffic management system, the server room. Street department building is in major need of repairs, so they're refurbishing it. So total engineering is $45,960. Going into the intersection improvements, our gateway enhancement, exit 16, project cost out for SPLOS 8, $387,162, GDOT $61,422. Our base tree in Guanto, $2,540,000, T-SPLOS plus GDOT. Total intersection improvements, $2,989,332. Our street maintenance improvements. Street maintenance improvement includes our annual cost where we purchase all of our asphalt and our concrete. $90,000. That's SPLOST 8. Total street maintenance improvement, $90,000. Resurfacing through LMIG grant, our SPLOST, our GDOT is $675,000. Our match through SPLOST 8, giving a total for resurfacing $1,350,000. Our road improvements, the Old Clydeville Road Widening Project, T-SPLOST and GDOT combined, $5,850,134. Sidewalk improvements, our Dogwood sidewalk improvements, the SPLOST 8, $2,161,500. The VSU area sidewalk improvement, $20,000. Our total sidewalk improvement on our capital request is $2,181,500. Piping of ditches, our emergency culvert replacement and piping, we've allocated through SPLOST 8, $159,500. Our Lakeland Avenue drainage improvement design cost, $160,000. That's SPLOST 8. Our Troop Street culvert upgrades, $750,000, making our total drainage for FY24 $910,200.
Excuse me, let me just ask a question. We want us to ask the questions after you finish.
You can ask questions.
Because I was just wondering, what part of Troop Street were we talking about that for the culvert upgrades?
There's a corrugated pipe that, if it's in the storm water, that moves water from one side of our Troop Street to the other, is completely disintegrated, so we're replacing that corrugated pipe.
Okay, I was just wondering what area. I hadn't seen it, but okay.
Our traffic improvements, our preemption intersection systems, we're adding a new system at exit 18. We are restocking our controllers, our XL controllers. Also restocking our traffic cabinets, and the cost for strapping of the roads, the total traffic improvements is $172,038. Our total current revenue, $45,960. Total coming out of two SPLOST, $8,390,882. Total SPLOST 8, $4,575,400. Total GDOT, $736,422. Total out of engineering is $13,784,664. Our engineering department, they go out and they evaluate and they make that determination. The next department is our fire department. I was out at a fire burn about 2 weeks ago, and they had a device, a thermal imager, and what it does is allows firemen to go into, normally they would have to go into if they were in a burning building looking for someone that was down or looking for a body, they would have to search all over. This thermal imager, showing this item, it would light up that heat from that body, and they could go directly to it. So that first item is a thermal imager. The second item is specific to taking care of maintaining their fire gear, is a gear dryer. And on Fire Station 4, they're doing a bay door replacement, bringing the capital request for the fire department, $30,700. Fire Station 4 with the, yes ma'am. Urban development is next. Their cost for doing historic resource surveys, the planning division, $25,000. That's their total amount. our sanitation, public works department, and the other general funds for the city hall annex, putting in many control units to maintain the temperature of the air conditioning systems. Finance flooring, refurbishing the finance department flooring, accounting, and hallway repairs, and a camera system for Unity Park. All of these items comes in at $150,000.
So the financing floor, there's other funds in the area that we added in here, but there's also, right, just finance.
These one has they're more problematic currently, and we're looking at all of the repurposing everything in the city, but these are the priority areas at this time. Parks and facilities, street resurfacing, the cemetery, there's a section in the cemetery that we're resurfacing. That cost is $110,000. The sanitation headquarters building, interior paint renovations, $15,000. And I know I'm probably going to get some questions on the Mathis City Auditorium. The total price for some items, some repairs, some projects there is $1,592,317, and this is just budgeted just in case that the city don't move forward with its current plans. If we go forward with our current plans, this funding will be moved back into the accommodations area. Our Department of Labor building, roof replacement, HVAC controls, the total for the Department of Labor building, $1,211,591.
They re-up for a full 20?
They made that proposal, yes, sir. The motor pool building, maintenance center, building expansion. Currently, the motor pool, all of their tire change stations is outside in the elements. They're looking at expanding the bays, putting 2 lifts, totally enclosing that area. So that total for that area is $385,000. The maintenance center bathroom renovation is much needed. So the total for the motor pool complex, $423,000. Current revenue, $260,000. User fees, $3,241,908. Total sanitation public works, $3,501,908. Water sewer, the next in our capital request. GDOT utilities adjustment at Jerry Jones. Central lines, SPLOST 7, $1,500,000. Total for T-SPLOST 7, $1,500,000. SPLOST 8, and I'm just going to go through these. These are a lot of single line item. Emergency repairs, switchgear unit, and you've heard some of these terms. Our GDOT utilities adjustments, resurfacing, anytime we put in utilities, when they cross intersections, cross streets, we have to pay for the resurfacing and for the realignment of the utilities itself, the utilities complex. A water system expansion, utilities adjustment at 5 points roundabout, utilities adjustments at Jerry Jones, and the EPD sewer collection. The total for all of the SPLOST 8 is $8,735,388. Our GFA for our capital request, our REMA Ronto improvements, lift station replacement and construction, EPD sewer collection. Our total GFA, $9,500,000. Our capital request continues for utilities, Under user fees, and again, these are some line items. Emergency generators, the water treatment plant 2, grant match for the city, the grant match, the water plant bypass, service pump replacement, hypochlorite tank replacement, ozone monitors, Vertiflex hose pumps, finished water flow meter, sewer addition, new service, insertion valve replace and repair for the fire hydrants, 2-inch water main replacement, sewer system expansion, valve exercising machine, GDOT utilities adjustment on Jerry Jones, equipment replacement, Willacoochee, equipment replacement, the water plant, Knight's Mill lift station rehab, tall metal storage building, re-roof and gutter for maintenance shop, the second hypochlorite generator sales at the water plant, the Seffi logger, say that one twice. These are fuel polishing system, plumbing station, bar screen, west train car repair, belt filter press. A lot of these items you hear come across in front of you at our council sessions where you approve when we go out to get the bid, bring it in for your approval. You hear a lot of these things. A lot of these things are constant replacement annually throughout the utilities department. Ma'am, that's a very good question.
All right. Couple middle.
Right.
That's with the Gucci wastewater treatment plant.
It's called a tall metal storage building.
It's tall and it's taller than 8 foot. It's tall, it's about 9 and 10.
So that's the Baltimore building.
With the Gucci treatment plant.
Thank you.
Total GFA, $9,500,000. Total SPLOST 7, $1.5 million. Total SPLOST 8, $8,735,000. Georgia ARPA grant for the water treatment facility, $6,037,500. User fees, $6,148,000. Total for water and sewer, $31,921,788. Our total capital, $49,647,549. Our total for motor pool, $3,411,275. Total capital and motor pool, $53,058,824.
Yeah, the police. Municipal court, police.
Yes, municipal court, they're putting in a security system, cameras throughout the court system. That's coming in at $39,184. That's the total for a municipal court.
And the police? And the police?
Did I miss the police?
You sure did. You went right to fire.
That's what I was asking. I said, did I miss that?
Sorry, Chief. Oh! All right. The police department, backup database server, access control door locks throughout the Valdosta housing authority replacement repairs of the camera system. The camera,
That's going to be interesting document that you said, control door locks.
no. The
Basically, there's a camera system.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The automatic camera, tag reader camera expansion project, the off-site facility purchase balance, night vision goggles, building plumbing repairs, the AOC 20 auto sample, the thermal quadcopter, the drone, night drone has the ability to take photos, video at night, elevator modification, hydrogen sensor, and then the mini split air system. The total for police capital, $277,900. Currently, they have the last payment of the 4 or 5 of the on-body camera system. The last payment of the Dell laptop lease to purchase, bringing that total to $92,000. Total for police, $370,305.
Mr. Harris, is there a way that we can help achieve some camera lighting for camera system in some high crime areas such as Congress or Knox Drive and McAfee, because that is a very high crime area. Would we assist her in any kind of way with his camera system in that area? Do we have any funds for that?
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the things that we're looking at, we're discussing, and we're currently doing some of those things now, and we'll keep you abreast as we put those in place. Yes, ma'am. The next part of our presentation is our motor pool request. Finance, meter reading, a truck, extended cab, one item. It replaces a 19-year-old vehicle. $42,500 is the total. Moving into engineering.
Is that, excuse me, I'm sorry, the meter reading, is that for our water?
Yes, it's the individuals to go from site to site inspecting meters.
Not residential?
Yes, residential.
When are we going, it might be a later question, when are we going to get all that up online?
Well, that's, as we look at it, one of the things we have now, we're working with the contractor on the endpoints. Once we figure out, make sure that we have all the endpoints there working up and running, those are the things that connects to the meter, sends the signal, and it quantifies the total amount of water that's going through the meter. So that's one of the things that we're looking at, and one of the areas that we're having some concerns and problems with, and we're working through it. Once we get through that, then we can start pulling back those employees and dispersing them throughout other areas within the city.
Do you know how long, I mean, I know you're working through it, but I think, haven't we been working on it for like 2 years now?
We have, there are some issues that is caused by the heat.
Right.
Those endpoints, they're sitting on metal lids, and that heat is quickly deteriorating, and they're malfunctioning. So,
But the company that's installing them, are they
they're working through replacing all of those endpoints.
at their cost?
Yes, sir.
Good. Sorry, I'm just wanting to know if it's all connected, but thank you.
Yes, sir. Engineering has several vehicle requests. They're looking at replacing a 2003 Crown Vic. This is for the administration. They have a area lift truck they're looking at replacing. This is also a 20-year-old vehicle. A crew cab, the one they have now for the signs and marketing, is out of service. Can't find the parts. A crew cab for the TMC is going to replace a 2001 E150 van. They're also requesting a fiber splicing utility trailer. This is a new purchase. A barricade utility trailer for street maintenance. This thing will serve multiple, where they won't have to load, unload, so they can keep all these items stored in the trailer as they go from area to area. Street maintenance also, from engineering, is replacing a F-550 service truck. This truck is 20 years old. Total for engineering for motor pool request, $458,775.
So Harvey, you said administration, the vehicle that you're using, would that vehicle be posted at City Hall, or would that vehicle be transported back and forth to home?
That vehicle will be stationed at City Hall, at engineering. That's the vehicle that's getting replaced. That's Mr. Tolliver's old vehicle, but it will remain out in the parking lot at the annex.
But it's not a vehicle.
It's not driving. No, ma'am.
You gonna get rid of the 2003 Crown Vic? The one that,
Yes, ma'am. And you can go to
I might,
you can go to Gold Deals probably about 8 months.
I told him that was an
We're
ancient,
gonna replace it with something smaller.
with that crew cab.
Replacing it with that crew cab.
With that big old
half-ton crew cab.
truck.
It's a F-150.
Gonna get rid of that
Oh, that's what I'm asking. You need F-150 to do admin work? I mean, that sounds like that sounds like something that less gas does.
Well, when they're driving individuals from point to point, taking different pieces of equipment, admin is just a term where they're assigned to. It doesn't mean they're not doing any type of,
They might have to give them a bugging.
So they're going to be using that truck as the mayor just said, the field.
yes, ma'am.
I will make a comment though about crew cabs. More often than not, I see crew cabs with Valdosta City signs on the door, and there's one person driving. Nobody in the passenger seat, nobody in the back seat. I know that's not always the case. I'm sure they do have crews that go out, but
Right.
more often than not, if you want to save a few $1,000s here and there, that's what I would say. It's an opportunity.
And you're right, a lot of times they may be, but a lot of times when they go from site to site, moving people, individuals from back and forth. So,
And
you're right.
I realize that. I realize that. I'm just saying that
Right.
that's an area.
The next item, area of storm water, a boom mower with a 24-foot arm. This is operation and maintenance. It's the tractor that it drives along the bank, the roadway, and it reaches out into the canals. A much-needed piece of equipment. The total for stormwater is $250,000.
Instead of answering my questions, are we going cheaper back to engineering? Will we go cheaper than upscaling these high-density vehicles? Will we go less expensive? They could have inexpensive trucks that can be used.
Well,
Do we have to always have the top of the line vehicle for this work?
They're not the top. When it says F-150, we go out and we send out the bid for that size vehicle. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a Ford, Chevy, Dodge. It just means that it's a 1500 series, or 2500 series, or 3500, depending on the type of vehicle that they need for that different division or department. John Burton, he works very well with the different departments, making sure that they get the appropriately sized vehicle for their needs. The police department, 17 items in all, with one being a radar trailer. The radar trailer is the only new item. All of the other items are replacement.
The radar trail is that the equipment that you put out in different areas to see how much the speed is in certain areas?
Yes, ma'am. It does, and it does other things also.
That when it tells you to shop,
He said
It's not that detailed.
The tag reader?
Tag reader. So total for the police, $665,000. Fire, they're requesting a super cab truck, 3/4 ton, red, special operations. Is replacing a 2007 F-350, $80,000. Other protective service, community protection, a half-ton regular cab, is replacing a 2006 1500 Silverado, $45,000.
Is that when they pull the truck up there, they pull the vehicles in? Is that when you see that? It says half-ton, regular cab truck. What is it? It's used for?
This is the community protection division.
Right there.
The marshals, the city marshals. Yes, ma'am.
So the city marshals.
That's your two-door right there, Ben.
Yeah, they all got trucks.
Right. They're replacing one of their older trucks that they're having problems with. And that one is a two-door.
I got to ask about them Crown Vics, because Freddie Boone said he got rid of them.
Are we going with these trucks because of some of the areas that they have to ride in and go to, might be off-road or something in that case, or in case they got to pick up something?
And you're correct, and that's, like I said, that's some of the things that our fleet manager looks at when he works with each department on basically what do they need these vehicles for, what are they used for mostly. So they look at that when they make the decision, when they spec out those vehicles. So I feel that they do a very good job specking them out based
By
on...
this being for the marshal, I mean, there might be cases where they got to ride down a dirt road or something, you know, after a rain or whatever, so, yeah.
Where's the dirt roads at in Valdosta?
Well, there's one right now, and it's on James Road.
Really?
That's
We got a
about
dirt
right.
road in Valdosta when we were told
County maintained, city owned.
That's right.
but the county maintains it, so that we don't have to worry about,
I
okay,
ride
I
on
was-
sometimes.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Because what's his name, Larry Henson and we went over there. No dirt roads in the city of Valdosta.
Well, city marshals, do they have equipment that they carry?
Yeah, they do. They have different pieces of equipment, but
That requires to go into bed?
I...
They do, so like those signs, for
Your
example,
posts, your signs?
when it's election time or a new business.
They throw them on the back of their pickups.
Pick them up and put them in the back of the truck.
In the back of the pickup.
That's true.
So they got to have post hole diggers and...
Right, when they collect items from the right-of-way, they remove items from the right-of-way. That's
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The oldest truck they got is a 2006.
That's the one that they're having problems with. That's the one that's getting replaced.
I do know that I'm not saying they don't do a great job, that's not what I'm saying. And I do know they work out of the truck, and they log off their laptop into the director, the department, and that the person knows what's going on. I know they do that correct.
Yes, ma'am.
So now they stay out in the field. All the time they basically come in, nowadays when the shift is over, because they have to be on the lunch hour, correct?
They spend a majority of their time in their vehicles out inspecting their designated routes, yes, and they utilize that technology that they have.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am. The next area is the public works sanitation. F-150 crew cab, truck, regular bed, quad, half-ton, is replacing, is going to the right-of-way division, is replacing a 2002 Ford Expedition. X-Mark 72-inch mower. Normally we replace two of these mowers every year just because of the use of them. The next item is the F-350 crew cab regular bed, quad, 1 ton, right away. We utilize this to pull some of the trailers, the heavy trailers with all their equipment. This is the 72-inch, that's the other mower that's going to right away. Another mower, 60-inch, zero-turn mower going out to the cemetery. A rear loader, 20-yard garbage truck. This is a smaller garbage truck utilized in commercial, going into some of the smaller alleys and parking lots throughout the city. It's replacing a 1999 rear loader garbage truck. You see, we definitely get the use out of those vehicles. A front loader garbage truck, commercial collection. It's replacing a 2006 front loader garbage truck. And 4 sway car trailers. We utilize those throughout the route where we use the grapple truck to cross load, whether it's yard debris or whether it's the junk, and we keep those claw trucks out on the route. So those trailers, they run back and forth, whether it's to the dump site for the vegetation or to the landfill for the bulk items. That total price for public works sanitation, $997,000. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Everything that we have here that is replacing, those items will go to Gov Deals to be auctioned off.
Now, just to go back to that other one that we were talking about, that's the one that's not working, that's having electrical problems, correct?
The one that's having electric problems, that one is in...
The one that the marshal is using?
Yes.
Okay.
Motor pool request continues, water and sewer, 60-inch zero-turn motor for the water plant. This is a new item. A single unit truck CCTV vehicle, central lines. This is a smaller vehicle, once again, provides better access to some of the locations where we can camera some of the lines, blockage, determine what's causing the issue. This is a new vehicle, a 2024 Ford F-350 Super Duty service truck, central lines. Is replacing a 2008 Ford F-350, a Model 400 ECO Mini Sewer Vac Jetter, central lines. This is also a new item. It's a smaller piece of equipment which allows the driver of this vehicle does not have to have a CDL license. It's smaller, provides us quick response to get someone to the areas, and then if need be, the larger vac truck will go out and take care of the problem. The next item is a Ford F-350. It's replacing a 2007 Ford F-350. The next 3 items are work hand in hand. The F-450 with dump bed, the equipment trailer, and the skid steer loader with the mulcher head. That is a package where we've had some sewer spills, wasn't able to get to the sites as quickly, or we couldn't respond as quickly as we could have. So this piece of equipment, this package here is going to allow us to maintain those easements so that we have better access to them. So all the easements going out to the manholes, even working with even stormwater, making sure some of those easements are clean and kept clear. Our total for water and sewer is $873,000. Our total motor pool capital funding, user fees $3,411,275. Total motor pool $3,411,275.
But I have a question before we move too far. I just wanted to ask about those under the police motor pool. We had those Crown Vics. Now, are those, there's still a lot of them in, I guess, activity? Because we have a lot of, they changed a lot of them for those Dodge Chargers, right? Do we still have a lot of them in service?
We do. We have quite a few. those type of vehicles that we run. However, they are getting replaced by the Dart Chargers or whatever's in the market.
So we have this many that they're using, that are in use now, that we're...
Yes, ma'am. All those Crown Vics, they are being used.
Is this part of our rotation that we do?
Yes, sir. All of these vehicles is based off of the reliability, mileage, and and I keep going back to the fleet maintenance manager. Very good records, vehicles that's causing the most problems, the high mileage, and those are the vehicles that gets replaced.
But we do replace X number, I don't remember what it is, X number we try to replace
Yeah.
periodically, so we don't have 50 cars we got to buy all one time.
Absolutely.
That's what this is a part of.
Yes, sir. We
Because they was, we were getting rid of them because they couldn't.
Car to the miles, or every 90 days, every 6 months, or
we have different service requirements. It depends on the vehicle. Some of them are by miles, some of them are every 3 months, 90 days. It just depends on the type of vehicle.
And are these becoming more readily available now? Last year we fell way short.
Just got word as soon as the budget is approved for 2024. There's some vehicles out there based off of what we normally we purchased 2023 models, so there's vehicles out there now that's available.
And they're not still gouging us for them?
Not as bad.
We got killed last year.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we're looking at, the Chargers. All right, moving ahead, going into our general fund. As I stated, with the first slide, in resemblance to this slide, talking about the revenues that's coming in, and then the operating expenditures, the use of funds, and comparing it to fiscal year 23, the adopted estimate, and then the recommendation for fiscal year 24. So the first item on our financial plan, revenues. Where does this funding come from? Say, taxes. So it's driven by all the taxes that we bring in, our local generated non-tax revenues, revenues from other governments, receipts from other funds of the city. Looking at 23 to 24, relatively flat. So the taxes for 24, $38,813,000 from just the taxes. Looking at the total sources for our general fund, $47,959,833. That's the revenues that was brought in for our general fund financials. Looking at our projected use of funds, our operating expenditures, our capital expenditures, debt service, and disbursement to other funds came out to $47,949,95, leaving an excess of $10,738. Our estimated fund balance for July 1st for fiscal year 24, $16,271,468. Our estimated fund balance as of June 30, $16,282,206. The next slide outlines where our revenue actually comes from, and that was one of the things I was talking about on the slide. This is exactly where the revenues is, the percentage-wise it comes from. 30.2% property taxes, other taxes, franchise, insurance, premiums, alcohol, 34%, sales tax another 28%, License, permits, 1.3. These license and permits, land disturbance, alcohol license, insurance, business companies, intergovernmental, airport security, right-of-way from the state, airport crash rescue, charges for services, lot clearing, collection fees, fines and forfeitures, and the last one, 1% miscellaneous. Charges for, well, that's one of the area, lot clearing and collection fees. Revenue expense by comparison, proposed revenue for fiscal year 24, property taxes, $12,705,082, lost $11,700,000. The total $24,405,892. This is our proposed property tax, and as I stated earlier, we won't know exactly until we get the tax digest in October. But this is what it based off, estimated growth for October. But this is what it is based off of, and the same thing, we're just doing a projection. Looking at the $24,405,000, the proposed budget for FY 2024. The police department, $17,995,052. The fire department, and you can see that our property taxes and loss doesn't cover, in comparison, those two items that requires funding. General fund expenditures by classification. Again, looking at this pie chart, you see exactly where the general fund revenue is, where the expenditures comes out of the revenue. Personal services drives 67.1%. This is payroll, FICA, Medicare, medical, debt service, other services and charges. 14.5, some of these things is the auditor, legal, medical, data processing, print and IT, Moody support, travel and training, GMA conferences, professional membership, tuition for conferences, supplies 5%, contractual services, electricity, telephone, cell, utilities. All of these expenditures by classification is out of the general fund. Taking it to the next step, the general fund expenditures by department. Again, you'll see the police at 40, fire at 24. The next, driver, engineering 8.6. These are the users of our general fund. Yes, ma'am. We'll make sure everyone gets a binder with all. Oh, those are just notes that I put in just to. Okay, we'll get you that. Yeah, the numbers and the things that I'm giving that's not on the chart, those are just. I just brought those out of there. That some of the funds. The expenditures that we spend in those different areas. Yes, ma'am. Reduce questions.
I'm saying that you're doing a great job. I'm not knocking what you're doing, but we just need a copy of it.
Okay.
So we can write the notes down, so maybe when the next meeting, we can see where we started at, and where we.
Yes, ma'am. We'll get you those.
Ms. Catherine?
And I'll push back here. So when we had sent out the email, we had said if you guys wanted a hard copy to let us know and we would make you one. I know you did, that's why I'm saying I'd like to see what you got because I thought you had it. But everyone else did get that email and we said if you wanted a hard copy for this to make notes or whatever else, to let us know.
No, this is your, this is what every time we do this, we ask for our copy, and finance and whoever, they give us one report when we start, and then when the presentation starts, it's a different report. That's what we have to, that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Let's do the same thing, because he's doing a great job, but we should have a print.
Right. And a lot of information that I'm presenting is just personalization. And we'll get you a hard copy.
She had requested, she got the packet.
I didn't get this.
I mean, the presentation wasn't ready until just yesterday, but anytime you ask for that, we'll be glad, we can print one right now. I'll send somebody downstairs and give her a print of the presentation.
All right. Our next slide is our loss slide, and it shows from 2014 all the way up to present how lost has the funds has increased. So our projection at the end of 23, we're looking to have or collect $11,500,000 in lost. The next slide outlines our general fund balance. As I stated earlier in the presentation, is expected to grow to, for fiscal year 23, $16,271,468, and that increase was from that mild increase was from some of the grants we received. Next slide outlines our general fund positions, all of the positions that make up the employees in our general fund, and this slide is by the departments, and just looking through it is outline how many employees that is employed by each department. And I'm not going to pick on the police and fire because I've already said that the larger numbers, but
Mr. Harley, how many more firemen do you think we're going to need to staff to get us back up to what we get ready to staff the other substation out here and police?
right, we've added 12 positions. They're defunded until we receive the funding for these positions when we go online. So we've increased that total by 12. Now let's take a look at our revenues. Revenues, as I was personalizing earlier, we talked about taxes, licensing, permits, intergovernmental charges for service, fines, forfeitures. All of these things, all of these areas are revenue sources. And if you look to the right, 23, the amended budget outlines the amount of tax dollars that was generated all the way down. As I outlined the different revenue streams, and then from 2024, you can see it's relatively flat across. However, comparing 23 to 24 total revenues for recommended budget for 2024 is $47,775,833. The next slide outlines our transfers in. This, again, funds that's coming in from different sources. Our accommodation tax, federal COVID relief, the federal COVID relief, that 100,000 is the fund that grants manager position. SPLOST 8, the sanitation, water and sewer, inspections, the Department of Labor, it's a city-owned vehicle, a city-owned building, and our stormwater. So these transfers coming in, so our transfers out goes, let me back up. That total for all the transfers in is $5,682,672. Our transfers out is our group insurance for a total of $2,629,679. To continue with our revenue sources, our taxes. This comes from our real property, motor vehicle title, intangible taxes, franchise taxes, local option tax are lost, beer tax, liquor tax, business and occupational tax, insurance premium tax, financial institution tax, penalty, interest, real property, and the catch-all additional taxes. So looking at the 23 amended budget and our 24 amended budget, our tax revenue for 2024 is projected at $38,813,367.
Mr. Carter, all we do is property owners, and we put those citations in, the city marshal does a great job. And they take them to court, I think it takes them, 90 days or longer, to be able to take the citizens to court, not on the grass and et cetera.
Yes.
And we have quite a few, and that's what we brought, hopefully rated for 2023, 135,000, is that those are the penalties?
I would have to look and see exactly where that funding goes. I know it goes into our general fund. I just don't know exactly which one, and I'll find it out for you. The first area we're going to talk about for FY25 is in our executive section, the legislative, our mayor council, the total positions, no position changes. We're still sitting at 8 for 23, and then going into 24, the same projections. Our recommended budget, you can see the amended budget for 23, total expenditures, and then looking at 2024, the recommended budget, it pretty much remained flat, $821,367 to fund the legislative staff.
Mainly because I'm just curious. When is the last time that they do because I heard you say something about there was going to be an increase in salaries for certain people. Was that including the council, mayor and council?
All city employees, yes.
Okay. I was wondering when was the last time the council got a raise?
3%.
Yeah, I was just wondering when. I just was wondering when.
It does not.
There's is laid on, at the retreat, they don't hold, or not included.
Because our previous councilman, under our previous city manager that left, he was supposed to have a little proposal on that, and he did not.
Well, I just have the question, when was the last time we got a raise?
That's a good question.
You're new.
You remember when Councilman Vickers
I'm not
had proposed
good.
that we updated and we voted on it?
We had.
And
Okay.
it never did go
I know it's
into
been a
effect,
while,
but you
but I
said
was-
we had to wait until the next election cycle for the which is passed and gone. It never did go into effect, but I don't.
You have to do it in this current cycle so that the voters know what and who they're voting on.
Right, that's why we did it when we did, but it never did go into effect, so, I mean, it is.
Okay, we'll address that.
The only reason Councilman Vickers wanted to get it done, so it wouldn't get so far behind again, so you'll be looking at a big increase to try to catch it up. So, that's why he suggested it at that time, so right now it's still where it was, I think, 2008 or 9 or something.
You guys have fallen way behind the state average, by the way.
Look, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll check into it.
Alrighty. The next slide, out of which accounts for the legislative, is the FY24 proposed agency contribution. These are the funding. These are the areas that is funded. The Disabilities Council and the amount. Moody Air Force support. The National Guard. Valdosta Sympathy, Azalea Festival, Bird Supper, the First Sergeant, GMA Telecommunications, Juneteenth, Veterans Day Celebration, Southside Recreation, One Valdosta Lounge, and miscellaneous for a total of $179,092. The next slide outlines the proposed agency contributions. Contributions made to the Historical Society and our public art. The total accommodations is $50,000. Total agency contributions is $229,092. The executive 2023 4 employees. 2024 6 employees. This includes the assistant city manager and the Dr. Lucy Green's position. Looking at the areas of expenditures, personal services, contractual services, supplies, travel, training, and membership, other services and charges. Total expenditures, $744,093, and that increases from those two positions. The next area is our public relations. The position numbers stayed the same. A smaller increase in the cost for this area. The total expenditures for public relations, $360,354. Elections, zero budgeted for 23, 30,000 budgeted for 24. Law, city attorney, 275, solicitor, 9,000, indigent defense, 20,000, total expenditures for law, 385,000.
For that elections, that 30,000, what does that include? What is that? I know we didn't have an election last year. I'm saying this one. I mean, is this going towards the buildings that we're going to be open?
That's what the Board of Elections contracts with us to run the elections.
Yes, it's a contractual services with the county.
It needs to handle it in-house 100 years ago.
Does it tell you what buildings they're going to open up for voting and early voting, or it's just $30,000 and they decide?
Right.
She has them earmarked already. We have not added any, if that's what you're asking, and you're wanting to add one.
No, I'm just wanting to make sure that we can you know, given that $30,000, we can have a little bit of say-so on, you know, what buildings they open and how often we want to make it as convenient as possible for people to vote.
You absolutely can.
And those are things that we can address. This is just the contract that we have with the county.
And we make that, we do that, budget amount every year.
Election year.
Every year we have an election.
Correct.
So we haven't one this year, right? So we budgeted that for 2024 so we can have the money ready for 2025.
That one should be for the 24 presidential. We already budgeted this past year for this year.
So how did she pay them? So she marked
Yep, that's what she passes back as the contracted price for opening the polling places and running election, yes. County, I think, pays for most of their actual full staffing. And that really is a bargain.
Our next area is our human resources. There's no changes in total position for our HR department. The total expenditures remain relatively flat. The expenditures for the HR department, $441,054. Finance, as I stated in the first part of the presentation, we had two positions, the grant manager and the accounts payable clerk. So the total positions went from 24 to 26.
And those are both 8-hour jobs, correct?
Yes.
Did you fund one of those out of ARPA?
Yes, one is funded. The grants manager is out of ARPA. Our expenditures, personnel services, contractual services, supplies, travel, all of these will be throughout the presentation. Again, the recommended budget fairly remains flat throughout. So for finance in 2023, the total expenditures was $2,498,834. The recommended budget for 2024 is $2,602,927. It remained the same. Engineering, there were no in the positions remained the same throughout. There was no change from 23 to 24. The expenditures in engineering from 23, its amended budget was $4,325,560. The recommended budget for 24, $3,920,498. And the capital outlay drives a little of this. Other general administrative, this is our City Hall Annex. There were no changes in the personnel. The expenditures for 23 to 24 changed slightly. Capital outlay, there was no capital outlay in 23. So the recommended budget for 24 is $729,149. City Hall Annex, there's 3 total. City Hall has 2, and the Annex has 1. DeMarcus and Tara, City Hall, and the City Hall Annex position is vacant.
I thought Ms. Riley handled the city hall buildings. She don't handle that, she just do the budget.
I think you should pile it on her. I think she needs another hat.
I make note to add. Our next area is our municipal court. The personnel total positions remain the same. Our expenditures move slightly. Our recommended budget for fiscal year 2024 is $895,005. Our police department, positions remain the same from 23 to 24, 209 positions. The same with the expenditures, changed slightly from 23 to 24. Total recommended budget for the police department is $17,995,052.
Chief, how many you got active? How many do you have active, not budgeted?
What's our total staff on the police department at this point? I know we got a chief, the whole staff, got how many employees in there?
We're 168 sworn, 42
Say that again, ma'am?
168 sworn, and
167 sworn, 42 civilians. Our police fire division, there's a breakdown, the same budget amount for 24.
Back to chief, she got 167 sworn, and she got 42 civilians. How many more does she need for staff of her division? 50?
We're good with the numbers, we just need to fill the positions that we have. We don't need that. Thank you,
Okay, how many does chief have and how many he?
Moving on to the fire department. The fire, as I stated earlier, in 2023, they had 94 positions in operations. They added 12 to man the fire station 8, bringing the total positions for fiscal year 24 from 111 to 123. He's in 2023, he was budgeted for 111. For 2024, brings his number to 123. Looking at the expenditures by classification for 2024, the recommended budget is $11,240,182. Flipping to the next slide, shows a breakdown by divisions, and the recommended budget remains the same. Those are things that we're working on. We're working on a grants, increasing our revenue through, taxes, our tax digest increasing. That's the biggest thing. Get more individuals to pay taxes, increasing that tax digest.
Growth.
When we get
If the,
Councilman Cole,
Growth.
we get we don't have a problem.
Mr. Hardy,
That money coming in.
if those grants didn't go through, what would we be looking at? To get that grant, what would the deficit be? The grants are not guaranteed.
Right. The cost to man the new fire station is about $750,000 annually.
And that's the same amount we're requesting the grant for?
Yes, the grant will be for 3 years, and over those next 3 years, we're hoping to have some type of growth based off of the infrastructure that we're putting in and based off of the projected growth throughout the city.
Thank you.
That's your job.
We've applied for several grants through Senator Ossoff and Warren Ock's office. Absolutely. Okay.
So, Richard, basically what you're saying is we're budgeting for these positions before we just put them out there.
Well, these positions are added. They're unfunded. They're not. They're on the books. Once we receive the SAFER grant, at this time we will come back and through council and fund them utilizing that grant.
Gotcha.
Very responsible approach.
What about the, one more question, the infrastructure improvements
For the fire station?
for the fire station
The
itself?
same thing. That's what we were talking about earlier through the state Ossoff's office, where we will apply for additional funding for the refurbishment of and renovation of that fire department.
Is there a cost estimate on that yet?
We're still working the cost estimate on it.
Thomas, that ask did advance. It's to the next round. It did advance.
Yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed.
Right.
Right. We've submitted all the requests based off a projection of what we would think to renovate that facility, and it did make it to the next level. So we're just standing by. Absolutely. Yep. All right, moving along. Other protective services. Our Community Protection Division, no change in the personnel. the amended budget from 2023 to 24, very slightly increase from 23. The recommended budget for 24 is $591,191. Yes.
Right. Don't we need well, wouldn't it be nice if we had another marshal? Do we need another marshal?
Well, currently we're looking at that. Right now we're just going to evaluate, make sure that with all the things that we're going on, we're going to do a complete process evaluation, and then we'll make that determination.
And does zoning personnel fall under protective services?
They do not.
Okay.
Zoning, they fall on the next area we're going to decide.
They have their own marshal, is what you're saying?
Yes.
They should have their own marshal.
They have their own person that goes out and do the appropriate checks.
Okay, where are we at on that individual?
I'm sorry?
Where are we at on that individual?
Well, they have that individual assigned. Zoning, they take care of they make their own checks with the personnel they have. They don't identify them as a marshal.
Okay.
Richard, if you want to press on, can you see the finish line, or do you want to take a 10-minute break?
We can break, and then we come back for urban redevelopment. That is fine.
But now you got your book, too.
We move on though, but I want to ask, will you move on from that section that we was on, because I want to ask about the executive staff.
I wanted to ask about the executives. I had a question. Could we, Amy, you could pull that slide back up? Yes. Thank you. Because I saw, I think they said they had 6 members, 6 staffing people who was on the executive.
8.
How many?
Moving from 4 to 6. 4 currently and 6 in the new budget.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
And then we have the other deputy position, but it's not funded.
Funded.
It's in there, but it's not funded.
Right.
So that's what it was. So who are the 4 executives? I mean, on
The 4 current positions is myself, Teresa, Brian, and Catherine.
Now, really, the only reason I know once before, when we had that before, because I think Teresa and, this old Shirley were part of what they call City Hall, but I know y'all did some adjustments and changes on that. You also mentioned about Miss Lucy Green. She don't have a position, but her amount we paid her came from out of this
Yes.
salary. What is her position? Liaison?
Right. Her title, and Mary, you can help me out on this one.
Yeah, it's Moody Support. She is our liaison.
Moody Support.
Yes.
Because I thought I saw somewhere else where we had a Moody person, but okay, she's on the executive.
All right, moving on with the other protective services, community protection, remain flat with the 6. Total expenditures recommended for 2024 also remains flat, coming in at our budgeted amount, $591,191. Urban redevelopment, Planning and zoning, total position 6. Budget recommendation for 2024, $608,882. Community development, no change in their positions. 2. The expenditures, up a little from 2023. Budget recommendation for 2024, $283,717. The slight increase was from other services and charges, IT, motor pool. Community development, Main Street. Total positions 2. The recommended budget remained flat. Budget for 2024, $555,863. Going to Public Works, General Fund, right-of-way. Right-of-way has total 29 positions assigned. Their annual budget for 2024, $2,038,004. It remained flat. Public Works Cemetery, 12 positions. There's a slight budget increase. Recommended budget for 2024, $826,013. That increase was for the capital outlay for the resurfacing of one of the streets.
Also, with the cemetery, we're looking at, we also looking at the tree that we will add, hopefully, at Sunset too, hopefully, that we can do the walk, through the walk, the ramp walk from the new cemetery to Freedom Park, where we're still looking at that.
You talking about the Azalea Trail? Yes, ma'am.
And the new cemetery coming from the river, which we sunset to do a trail from the new cemetery to Freedom Park, because there is the city does own a walk to land, we can do that for their correct.
If that's a possibility, we just got to absolutely add it to the conceptual plans that we have in place.
We're not, I'm asking that, because citizens are asking that. Everybody likes to be there at Sunset Central. And Paul Bearer is 100 years in the field. Sunset, you don't have a plot already. You can't go out there. And the one on Clay Road, he's almost there also. So we're going to have to look at something as a sunset too. And we have that property still that we can do that trail to Freedom Park as a walk, as a, families can come in and walk the trail. And they bring it to me, and I just bring it to the council and to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And as we have been discussing that area, everything from the sports complex, which is Valdosta Lounge, Rec Authority, and then the additional 200 acres that's still there. That's the city property. So absolutely, yes, ma'am. We can look at those things.
He's on the board with doing the cemetery also with us.
Yes, ma'am. The cemetery, other than the repaving, the next area is Public Works Others. 3 total positions. That budget remains flat. Recommended budget for 2024, $251,063. The last area under the general fund is HUD. HUD grant, Neighborhood Development Coordinator, one position. The the recommended budget for '24 is $647,095. The amended budget from '23 was from a one-time sidewalk project, which was $500,000. The HUD grant revenue, total revenues, recommended budget, $647,095. Moving out of the general fund into SPLOST. Our special purpose local option sales tax, SPLOST. SPLOST 8 taxes. The recommended budget for with the total revenues for 2024, $14,400,000. Our expenditures, SPLOST 7, $1.5 million. SPLOST 8, $13,310,788. Our operating transfers, $850,263. Total expenditures, $15,661,051. Our T-SPLOST, total revenues, $11,462,016. Our total expenditures, $9,024,950.
Are we on that T-Spot? This is not the region of T-Spot.
T-SPLOST is, yeah, Tia.
Are we, our projections, are they coming in?
They're coming in above. We had it slated for around 50K monthly. Still growing, sitting at about 70K monthly.
For some of those projects, we may be able to move up a little bit.
Well, yes. Fiscal year '24, our transit grant, the federal recommended budget $1,439,772. The state of Georgia, $84,000. Our operating transfers, $634,068. Total revenues for our transit program, $2,157,840. Our total expenditures for our transit is $2,157,840.
So all that we are getting in, we paying it out.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have any kind of profit, so there's no kind of profit at all.
There's no profit. Everything is revenue funded except for our match. To provide our citizen transportation through and around the city of Valdosta. And
So that's what I was wondering. So there's no way we had any left anything where we could expand the weekend and do anything like that, because that's one of the biggest things about.
Right.
That I feel like it's not.
You know, and we've had this conversation. Everything we're doing is looking to grow the transit. That's always in conversation, dealing with either whether we conversing with Valdosta State, whether we are conversing with expanding our hours, or even looking at weekends. We may get some additional funding for '24 that will increase our hours. We just need to know exactly where we're going to place those hours.
But we discussed that in the conference, once we increase the hours, that in 2 years, the grant money will be brought out for it, and we'll have to pay, was it 5, 7, something like that?
Well, the grant funding, not necessarily. The federal, state, not saying it's going to run out. What potentially could run out is how we do our match. The funding that we get from, we utilize our T-SPLOST to make that match. So, T-SPOS has that window, that short window where it expires, and then we have to wait on that funding. Looking at a small window, a break, but once again, that's not guaranteed. And our thing was, is the more money that we take from the federal or the state, our match gets larger. And at the end of the day, right? Absolutely, that's it. That's the driving factor.
And we were using the discretionary funds from TIA for our match. Good news is projections for the next TIA are way up. The projections say that we'll be taking in a lot more. So we can have that discussion for the future.
Right.
For the future.
No, I'm just saying this, I'm just looking at it, as long as we've had it, we haven't seen any of it, we've had any extra to do that. So what you're saying is projected that it may happen, we thought that too, about 24 years ago, we said we thought we would have a sure. So we're saying the same thing, but we're not sure.
We have increased.
It's never even going to get to revenue neutral. Because when he's saying it's a wash, that's on the federal money. We're hitting our head on the ceiling at $700,000 of operating. Yes.
So the city is never going to have any. We're never going to get in enough. So we can have a little.
And the next discussion should be whether we raise that fare as well.
Right.
I think that would give us an advantage to have a little extra cushion so we can.
A little less payout. Yes.
How about if we think about shifting a weekday to a weekend day? Say not Monday,
So,
just a different day. Instead of a Monday through Friday to Monday to Tuesday.
Problem with that is the majority of our ride percentage is to work. So that's 5 days a week. That's a producer for us.
And the thing is, we had it. Yes, sir.
Didn't our with this form of transit, doesn't it say something in there about we are not allowed to compete with taxis and those other services that other type of services that provide the same thing?
Right, and I don't know this exact wording, but you're right. We're not allowed to, whatever system that we put in, right, we cannot financially impact their servicing.
Right.
But we could cut back on that if we were just keeping on the funds. Like I kept saying, instead of buying the extra, we could buy a Ford Ranger, and that would be cheaper money that we could take and put in here to help with that. Instead of us buying the big trucks and make us look good as a city, we can lower the prices of those cheaper trucks and take that same funding and help these areas here. I know you guys are looking at the big picture, but you're not looking at ways we can save money to help everything. And we buying vehicles galore, but a lot of these departments, we can lower some of the trucks that we buying. And I don't know how you say F-150 at a cheaper cost, there could be another cheaper cost that we could do to eliminate a lot of the funding that we do now. That we can go to the water. Basically,
And you're right. I'm not disagreeing. It's just that if you look at the vehicles that we put on the road, how often we.
there's enough going out of town, they right now getting rid.
Right, and you're right. But if you think about you driving this vehicle all day long, and you're driving it for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years.
I drive mine, and mine are
Right. Alrighty, our contractual services, as stated, our recommended budget for 2024 is $2,157,840 for our transient program. Our accommodations taxes for 2024, our recommended budget is $3,900,000. 100 in interest, total revenues $3,390,100. Our expenditures from the accommodation taxes goes to our tax commission, tourism authority, conference center, airport authority, art commission, public art, historical society, and our operating transfers. Our total expenditures, $4,056,046. Our sanitation revenues, local generated non-tax revenue, fiscal year 24, revenues from other governments, our total sources, $6,567,956. Our projected use of these funds, our operating expenditures, capital distribution, disbursement to other funds, comes out to $6,486,875, with the excess funds of $81,081. Breakdown of our sanitation, residential pickup, small business, special pickups, commercial pickup, commercial adjustment, roll-off fees, landfill charges, residential garbage trash, recycling revenue, other fines and forfeitures, Deep South revenue sharing, and of course other revenues. These are all our revenue sources that bring funding in. Our total revenue for 2024, $6,567,956. A breakdown of our positions for fiscal year 2024, no changes, 48 positions. Our sanitation by classification, expenditures remains flat, $6,486,876. Sanitation by division, same total expenditures. Going into our water and sewer, revenues for fiscal year 2024 is projected $31,845,546. That's the projected sources of revenues. Our projected uses of funds, $23,504,090, with an excess of $8,341,456. Our estimated fund balance as of June the 30th is $161,600,352. A breakdown of our water and sewer revenues. Total revenues 2024, $31,845,546. A division summary. No changes in the number of personnel, 104. Water and sewer by classification, expenditures, recommended budget for 2024, $23,504,090. Water and sewer by division, same number for 2024 recommended budget. Just a breakdown of the expenditures by division. Going into inspection. Our projected sources of funds of revenue for 2024 is $1,103,313. Our projected uses of funds is $1,547,494. As you can see, there's a deficit. That deficit is based off of the, and I'll explain a little bit better as we go to the next slide, is the county moving their permits, the county permits going into the county. So the estimated fund balance as of June the 30th is $1,881,344. Well, the 440 is the 400 we put back into the general fund, plus the 8% of
That's what I'm asking. You did look at 400,000 back in the
yes. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see the breakdown of revenues. And you'll notice in 2023's budget, the county permits was $565,020, and recommended budget for 2024 is 0. So bringing our recommended budget from 23 to 24, the $1,103,313. Division by summary in inspections. Administration, no change in positions, 10 positions. Breakdown of the recommended budget in expenditures. Down to operating transfers, as I stated earlier, the $400K in transfer to the general fund, and then the 8% the group life insurance that goes into the general fund. So our total expenditures recommended budget for 2024 is $1.547494. Moving on to the Department of Labor. This is our rental property, the building revenues. Total revenues is $469,152. Our total expenditures, $639,018. Moving on to stormwater. Our projected sources of funds, revenue, the local generated non-tax revenues. Our recommended budget for 2024, $1,830,888. Our projected uses of fund operating expenditures and disbursement to other funds of the city is $2,389,101. Right, and you know, those are the conversations that we have in some of the new equipment that we get, that we can increase the frequency of cutting those canals. These pieces of equipment that can drive alongside the bank, that can reach into those, you know, and just getting the word out, letting individuals know not to dump, you know, posting signs, no dumping signs. Fines will be you will be given fines if you caught illegal dumping. Right. look at that. You know, as I stated earlier when we outlined some equipment that we were buying, this one piece of equipment they were talking about, not only does it have a mower head, you can put different types of attachments, and you can drive alongside the banks on a lot of these different canals and cleanup. Right. That's right. And you're right. You know, we can potentially post, and you know, one of the things is it's amazing how individuals find a way whenever to dispose of these things. So, and we'll take a closer look at that.
You're talking about trash, right?
Yes. Car tires, there's a
Contract with that. I know we talked about it before. We talked about contract with big clean tower now.
Ultimate on the ground does our contract. If we can add some things.
And see if it's in there. Here's why I say it, because I will send a video, while I was looking up here, I was sending a video like last week. They said, whoever y'all get the contract is going to do that now, this is what it looks like afterwards. And it was paper just cut in pieces, just, you know, why did they just go through and pick up the paper before they went through and cut that out?
And what,
We just had a follow-up meeting with the contractor 2 days ago to tighten up our QA/QC protocols with them. So we're working on buttoning that process up to improve their litter pickup. We're addressing that.
Can we, I appreciate you doing that. Is there any way you can basically just let them know, hey, come pack it up, and just let me contract it?
They're under that impression currently after my meeting with them.
Because, I know you can't go there and pick up every little single piece of paper, and I know we can't tell folks, we can tell them not to, but at the end of the day, there's just folks that's going to do it. But at the same time, though, I know I'm not going to cut my yard with trash all over it, because I know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right,
you
it's
know,
gonna get
take the
worse.
extra time, pick up the trash, pick up the tires, whatever. Because there's also videos been sent to me where there are tires and stuff, and they cut around the tire,
Right.
and they keep going. I'm like, but we're paying you to do this,
right.
so do it. You know.
Because to add on to what Councilman Hughes is saying, that the mill behind that store there, it runs all the way across the street to Ashland. And that's why a lot of the water be flowing in the street, because it has nowhere to drain. It just stays, it's nasty, because that mill, it's filled all the way across, what's that, Truth, all the way across Lee, all that's filled all the way to Ashland.
And I know we're getting vehicles like we talked about that can reach out there and grab that paper or whatever, but that's good.
Right.
But if we're paying somebody to do that, we shouldn't be doing that.
Right. And that was the thing that, and when I was referring to that we would increase the frequency on being able to have that piece of equipment in there to tighten up those shores, to clean out, to pick out, to keep that water flowing alongside with the
If that's their
the contract.
job, we need to make sure they're
Contract they're doing it.
That's a couple $100,000 annual contract, and for Vivian's, Ben's got a great plan for trash traps and otherwise for a lot of that infrastructure, so I think
I just want to make sure we're getting our money's worth.
Oh, absolutely. And as Mr. Dow stated, you know, having that QA process to make sure that we ensure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
We're falling behind after every single time I text me, every single morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a text from them saying, hey, we're going to be here today. And city staff goes out there immediately after it's done, inspects it for quality.
Thank you.
As of 3 days ago, every single morning.
Wish we didn't have to do that.
Appreciate it.
Next time you do it over there at IGA, like in that area, in Woodlawn, let me see them out there, 'cause I haven't seen them.
And also, when it comes to the trash, don't we have an ordinance that says that these businesses, like in the back of the businesses where they have the blue dumpsters, they should be screened?
Yes, they should be in a enclosure.
They're not, yeah.
Right. Now, some of them are grandfathered because, but any new facilities has to have that enclosure.
Can we somehow
Eliminate the grandfather?
Can we switch them out or something, or can we modify them somehow, and so they can be closed up and or shut or lids or whatever? Is there any way to do that?
And we can, and you guys know, it comes down to the individual users to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we're working on, all of the containers, making sure that they're 100% service. So we bring them in and have them completely refurbished. You know, it's just a lot of times individuals just pull up, and they don't even get out their vehicles. They just chuck it in. But those are the things that every Wednesday we have a crew that goes through, and they check every one of those sites, at the police those sites, and they get picked up. But, you know, the thing is, it's just enforcement, making sure that the business, you know, they're paying customers. However, they need to make sure that their areas are on point. And then if we need to increase the frequency of dumping, whether we pick up twice a week or we need to pick up 3 or 4 times a week, those are the things that we're looking at.
And that was going to be the next thing that I said, because some of the videos, I've got a dozen videos, and either the frequency needs to increase or an extra dumpster needs to be put there. Right. Because if there's 4 dumpsters and all of them are full and there's stuff all around all 4, then...
And you're right, that's what we're looking at, to make sure that, as I stated earlier, and as you stated, if it calls for another extra dumpster, that's what they need to do, or they need to increase the service days. Those are things that we'll do.
Yeah, because everybody was using it as a community dumpster.
Yeah, and the other problem is by Motel 7, I guess there's a dispute, and Ben and I have talked about this, between the different sides of the canal by Motel 7. There's also like a homeless tent area that's right there too. So there's multiple problems there by Motel 7. For one, there's a vermin harborage issue, because not only are the people at Motel 7, I've gone over there maybe 6 times, and you can see the bowls where they're feeding the animals. And if you go all the way around to Augustine and walk over where the tents are, you can see that the people from the tent side are also feeding. The combination of that, with no one cutting the grass, because no matter who's on this side or that side, they're both pointing the finger, it's this high. Okay. And there's shopping carts that Motel 7 knows that people, because they're so close, they go to Walmart, they bring the shopping carts. There's shopping carts in the canal, and they can't say that they don't know where they're coming from, because right at the beginning of Motel 7, there's 40 shopping carts, just like it looks when you walk into Walmart. And they're all and they're in rows. And
okay,
that's there's a lot going on there in that area, and I've been talking about that since last year.
Mr. Andy's doing a great job. He can't wash those tomatoes, not at your being. Those areas that I named, no way you can do it, because that's going to take us all day. Because people, like he said, people are living down in there, and the one behind the store there, and you name it, it's down in there. I see the city work to clean it out, great,
right,
beautiful, but they shouldn't be the ones that have to do it and clean that for them.
And that's been a site that we clean up every year, one of our designated sites, and we get 30 cubic yards of trash. We take equipment out there, because those are camps. I mean, you just can't walk out there and pick up things. You have to use equipment. But yeah, it gets very bad, and we'll put extra eyes on it.
And like the fines for these big businesses, I mean, you fine Walmart for violations $250. I mean, they write that off just as a loss at the beginning of the year. They don't even think about $250. You know, we have to get a lot higher to get Walmart's attention, or Target.
I'm just trying to help her, she's doing a very great job.
All righty, stormwater, going to the next slide. Stormwater operations and maintenance division summary. No change in the authorized personnel. The expenditures, all the way down, total expenditures for 2024 recommended budget, $2,389,101. Mathis City Auditorium, revenues, auditorium rental, 2023 budget was $30,500 projected. Recommended budget for 2024, $43,200. The total revenues for recommended budget for 2024, and this is just based off of the usage that we have programmed, $397,200. Division summary, 4 bodies at Mathis. The total expenditures recommended for 2024, $399,496. Motor fuel revenues for fuel sales stayed flat. Our expenditures for 2024, $490,275. Our motor pool revenues, our recommended budget for 24, total revenues $6,223,917.
How much do the city school system pay us?
Right now, the fees come from everyone that receives fuel from the city fuel station. They pay an additional 6 cents a gallon. So whatever the market value plus 6 cents. So that's what we're charging. That's one of the things that we're looking at changing as we move forward, based off of the what it costs us to maintain it, the fuel, and what's a good surcharge for everyone. The garage, the total positions, 15. The total expenditures for the recommended budget for 2024, $6,223,917. Moving to group insurance. Looking at the revenue source, employer premiums, retirees insurance premiums, COBRA insurance premium, miscellaneous, and operating transfers. Our total revenues for the recommended budget for 2024, $8,697,669. The expenditures, contractual service, supplies, other services and charges, the recommended budget, $8,697,669. Workers' compensation, the revenues from this area, the insurance premiums, the recommended budget is $689,000 for 24. The total expenditures for 2024 is $646,000. Even. Information technology. Charges for services. Our 2024 recommended budget, $1,873,879. Our expenditures, contractual services and supplies, the total expenditures is $1,873,879.
I gotta ask about that. Has anyone done a study to see what it would cost the city to have in-house services versus these managed services?
Not since we did the, in 2020, 13, 14, is, we have not done one as I know of, but I can check and see if there's something that we'll look at doing.
Since when? 2014. Okay, so it's been about a decade. Right. And so I brought up some things got my attention when I looked at the contract, and it was things like leasing monitors. Nobody leases a monitor. They're like $125. Within 6 months, we bought a monitor. Every year, we bought 2 monitors. And the other thing is I look at the software, and I would assume that we're using like virtual services, like the operating system we're using, like Windows 7, it's no longer supported, but if you keep it in, it's like container is protected, and that's the assumption. But we've gotten so far away from Windows 7, it really doesn't matter anymore. Windows 7 lost services years ago, and so shouldn't see that anymore.
And you're right. These are the things that as I stated throughout. These are the things that we're looking at. Some of the process that we're looking at doing our audit to make sure that we're these contracts that we have in place, and they're providing the city the services they need. And the monitors. And I know we've gone out and bought monitors from Sam's, where, as you stated, they're a whole lot cheaper to purchase than to rent.
Right. And I also, I wasn't here, but I was watching about the lease with the option to own. I think it was the police department's laptops. Didn't hear how many that was, but sometimes it's beneficial to lease to own something like that, and then other times it's not. So somebody with some technical expertise has to look at that and understand how technology is moving, whether or not we should or shouldn't even be in a contract like that. You know?
So we put Mr. Lisa here instead of behind us, because it don't look professional. Other cities, they have their corner, everybody in the same line. If we upgrade our technology equipment, he said here, and be a part of us and be behind us. Even her endpoint would be extend this equipment there.
And the audio problems, if we would just upgrade our audio system, because listening on Facebook, I mean, that was kind of torturous, you know. But I know for a fact that it's due to probably outdated audio equipment. It doesn't have the proper filtering, and that's why it sounds like that. It's going to make people not want to watch because they're not going to want to listen. The view is fine. But
We just had a company come in and give us a quote on upgrading all of this stuff. So
Okay.
that's one of the things that we're pushing.
And just the company that is here instead of behind us. As the citizens are saying, we are so back in the 60s, and other cities have everybody in the line, and they so neutralized together that it was more, we looking back sometimes, we participate here, and she said, what can you say?
Right.
Here's a slide, she can hear more.
Okay.
And she pushes it on us.
Okay.
Then we, 3 years ago, I believe it was, we had budgeted, which I know the cost is definitely different now, but didn't we budget around $50,000-$60,000?
I think you budgeted about 25. I think you budgeted about $125.
Wasn't it?
It was pretty steady.
To upgrade and, technology,
Right.
the sound system, how we're all sitting up here and everything else. Have we thought much more about that? I know we postponed it just because of...
Yeah, and that was one of the things that, I think it was prior to COVID hit, and it kind of just died off. But we still have been focusing on the technical portion, the technology portion, versus the woodwork and the seating stuff. But
Well, I'm just afraid that if we change our seating arrangements, or we change how we reposition, or we bring Teresa up, whatever the case may be, as long as that technology can change with us without costing us more money.
Right. Absolutely. Anything we put in, we'll make sure that we can expand it, grow it to fit whatever setup that we install.
That's why I want to put things in one place and then go, now that we've reconfigured how we're sitting, now we got to change everything up, and now it's another $5,000 to change your technology in the way it's sitting. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
oh yes,
it matters.
I just want to make sure of that.
we have not. I have not.
Suggestion to put it in there now, so it would be part of it.
Right.
And I just want to say one thing too about this virtual technology. The access to it. A lot of times when we have problems with our computer or whatever, we have to call them, and you have to be tech savvy on it to work with them to get it. That has been a problem with me, my iPad, because of the fact is I can't do what they want me to do on it, and every time I call them, my ticket is still open. It's just the access to get to it, and the person doesn't work locally or whatever. So it's a while, so we need to look at that too. Having somebody in-house with it.
I thought we had one person.
We have.
I've never seen him.
I did one time.
Daniel's assistant's here Tuesday. Daniel Ford's assistant, she's here Tuesday.
On Tuesdays. Okay. And I didn't see a line item for information technology under what do you call it? Human resources. Because last year I had a conversation. I noticed that a lot of the paperwork for city employees is in a closet. Probably shouldn't be in a closet, especially with no fire suppression. I mentioned that. And it's going to probably take somebody, and I've been down this road, to take each one of those things and have them scanned. That's a full-time job. Sometimes for a year or more, depending on how much paperwork you have. So I guess the question is twofold. What are we doing about that problem? And then are we also upgrading the human resource software so that once we get everything out of the closet and scanned in and digitized, it doesn't start to go back in the closet, because you're going to have the software to support that. And it's a little bit pricey, but you don't want a closet full of people's PII.
Are we doing that now as far as digitizing everything now at this point, or are we still?
Yes, everything that we can that's in the system now. You're talking more of the older documents, or the documents that must be maintained, the hard copies that must be maintained. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're looking at everything that we do now is electronically saved on our servers. It's just some of the materials that's in the past that we have to maintain for a certain amount of time. But as you stated, we'll look at that, make sure that all the appropriate data, make sure that we have the technology to scan and capture all that information.
And typically that information that has to be saved is saved off-site.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. And that's it. Our servers that we have in BC3, they are off-site. Our last item, Sunset Hill Cemetery. Our revenues charges for service. Our rental, our total revenues is $35,566. The $28,566 comes from the cell tower. the cell tower. That's in the right-hand corner of the cemetery. It looks like a pine tree.
No, it doesn't.
Wrap-up questions?
Council, I've gone through the entire budget, the financial budget for fiscal year '24. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, you can go ahead. I got a question.
The initial slide that we started off with, we finished up with. I've gone through every item on this the slide, and just to recap again on the revenues, the projected sources of funds, the revenues, total combined for fiscal year '24, $141,496,323. The projected uses of funds, $133,130,313. The excess funds is $8,366,010, and the estimated fund balance, July 1, 2023, $223,920,029. And then final, the estimated fund balance as of June the 30th, 2024, $232,286,039. Yes, sir.
And I may have missed it, but CDBG, NAA falls under CDBG. There's 3 on the west side. 2 of the 3 have made request. The Greer NAA has some minor requests over there, which will undoubtedly require some funding. But the major one that was approved last year for Magnolia Street, the park, last year I was told that needed to be brought up at budget this year now for Magnolia Street. Now, Hightower Park, I also requested that be renovated, but that's at the very end of Magnolia and Hightower, and that belongs to VIPRA. But the other 90% of Magnolia over there belongs to the city.
You wanted that expanded?
Yes, we wanted that cleared. It was about 200 trees. As a matter of fact, the Arbor Division went out there and inspected all those trees and marked off the ones that needed to be saved. There was only about 15 of them that was worth saving, and the rest they said cut them down because they just fall over now.
And that's where the current NAA is located, at that site.
Well, that's the Hightower NAA, yeah, and that was the Hightower NAA's request. Now, Greer Park NAA had different needs over there off of Savannah. I don't know, he was at that meeting, I believe, well, one of the meetings, and Anthony, I think, was at the other meeting. They wanted cars to stop driving through. We wanted to put parking over there.
Right.
Those wood stakes in the ground, they were kind of look like, Easter Island there.
Thomas, before we get into the weeds about infrastructure and change,
Yeah.
are you asking a budgetary question?
Yes, the budgetary question is, where's the money for that? Bottom line.
What I'll do is I'll get back, we'll pull it up and make sure that we have funding allocated for some of those projects.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I was, probably what he's going to look at.
Clear that out
budget is, let's walk that again.
Right.
They had a couple things earmarked, but I think best use is probably what we're gonna
And,
put this in there.
And then in the NAAs, we do have funding allocated on the HUD grant to fund some of those areas. And as you mentioned, that's some of the equipment that we bought, that we're buying, that we can get in there. Instead of going out and hiring someone to come in and clean it out, we can clean it out with this equipment and then maintain it.
Yeah, because I think from what I gathered, that grant is the grants that we got, basically, we have to use it for what we allocated.
Right. And you're exactly right. We have to use that funding for where it was allocated, but then the overall funding, we can disperse it throughout. Yes.
I don't want to take away pickleball. Clean that area out a little bit because there's a lot of activities going on. And residents in that area, where the city did start, someone started.
Right.
And they stopped. And I was wondering, we take it over to the residential line ends there.
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor, are there any questions for Richard or for Chuck, or even for Catherine, about this year's proposed budget?
I have one.
Please.
Are you foreseeing a need for increase or on millage rate, or what are you looking at? What do you
Based off of the budget presented, there's no plan for any or a request for any type of millage rate increase.
That's all I'm going to get.
This has been one of the best budget of understanding.
Yeah, I'm going to add that with no guarantee of even getting that job that we just gave him on Thursday, he was in here at 8 and 9 o'clock at night. He was sweating every bit of this. The transition time was budget time, so it was amazing to watch. Richard, well done. Catherine, well done.
I'm not going to take any credit. I mean, I couldn't have done any of this without, the department heads.
Yeah.
I know. But, those are the individuals that, that we put to the test, to go out, get these estimates, build these budgets, put it into the system, and then the budgeting staff outlines everything, brings us in, and we look at it and we go, well, you're over budget. So then we send them back out, trim whatever you need, but we want to make sure you have everything you need, not everything you want, but everything you need to service the city. So the department heads, the management, really appreciate your support to take care of that. Budgeting, oh my goodness, I can tell you right now, it wouldn't be possible without the budgeting staff to make it happen. Right. Right.
Are we allowed to freeze the retirements?
There's always a way.
Yeah, that's another one.
The offer, but she didn't take it. She denied it. No.
This is freeze the
Mr. Hardy.
We heard that quick.
He loves it here.
Can we take a look at, when we do bring retirees back, can we take a look at what salaries we bring them back at?
We can just freeze the retirement, don't allow them to retire.
Because like the county and city school system, when they take retirement, they get a 10% raise. Yeah. 49, they bring them back at 60, so they... Yeah. 49 and a half, so they get a 10% raise for working an extra year. Don't worry, it's not our money. Yeah, go on.
You could just, hey,
All right, so council, we stand adjourned.
you gotta make a motion.
Eric, motion to adjourn? So moved. Council, thank you very much.
Yep,
Please
we're done.
continue
So
to
moved.
pour over your book.